This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome to another episode of An Anthropologist Watches Amberlynn Read. And a lot's going on, guys. There is a lot happening. Amber has gone down the path of resistance when it comes to accusations against Tommy. Amber's trying to obfuscate and to distract, if one will, away from the current accusations that have come up through Jordy. Oh lordy, it's Jordy's channel. I'm gonna be upfront about the fact that, like, nothing against Jordy. I would have liked a little bit more vetting and a lot more authenticating of the sources that Jordy pulls. And my understanding is that Jordy was the one who went and found this person, or who reached out to this person first, and that the unnamed individual is trying to frame themselves as someone who was directly impacted by Tommy / Emily. We're just going to refer to her as Tommy because, like, you get one name, okay? And Tommy was the name. Sorry about you. I just would have liked to have seen a little bit less sensationalism around it and a little bit more actual reporting, I guess, around it. You know, the way journalism is supposed to be done. Keeping in mind, neither I nor Jordy nor any of the reaction channels are journalists, right? I do feel like there's a little bit of integrity that we should be upholding. And this isn't the first time that Jordy himself has started a particular kerfluffle in Girl World, particularly aimed at Amber. Well, the last time it turned out that Jordy's information wasn't exactly good. Now, keeping in mind, Jordy is the one that got, oh God, what were their names? Brittany and I forget the other girl's name. Valentine. The two women who tried to troll Amberlynn and have a fake relationship with her in order to later on exploit that relationship via Girl World. Jordy's also the one that interviewed the two of them, had them on his channel first. And that turned out to be just a bunch of malarkey. Jordy is the first one to have interviewed them, but in his interviews, it did come out that they were basically full of shit. So I will give Jordy points for that. I just wish Jordy would, I don't know, stop going off half-cocked, I guess, is my big thing here. Jordy's not a bad person. I just wish he'd, like, dig a little deeper before putting things on the internet, but that's a perfect world. Knowing that all that is out there, knowing that there's a series of text messages between Jordy and this person is making claims that they are the ex-wife of one of Tommy's ex-partners, and that Tommy had a lot of not good things that they did to said ex-partner. I think my favorite one is having them sleep in the basement because they snore too much. I think that's honestly my favorite part of all of it, if you can have a favorite in this sort of a situation. The verdict is still out as to whether or not this person is authentic or not as of recording today, which is the 18th of November. So, you know, things might come out in the near future or, you know, an hour from now. And we know that everything's authentic 100%, or we know that everything is bullshit. Something can happen. But as it stands right now, as my understanding, it's kind of up in the air. If you want to believe it, you can believe in it. If you don't want to believe it, you don't have to. It's a choose your own adventure kind of a thing. I'm not going to be going over the irony and the hypocrisy and just the, like, bullshit that Amber's trying to spew. We are going to react to the video, don't get me wrong. We're not going to go over those accusations because literally everybody else has. Amber makes some accusations. She tries to reframe the narrative so that Tommy is the victim in this situation. I feel like the situation that Amber starts talking about is not the same situation that the texter is talking about, but it could just be that I'm slightly out of the loop. I did take the weekend off. I was gone for 2 days. So this is how fast this shit moves. But it just feels like that Amber's talking about a completely different situation, which for Amber to bring up a completely different situation than it is being discussed is very Amber coded. It's a tactic that she uses fairly regularly. It's the whole, like, don't look over here, look over here, look over here, look over here kind of a thing. She tries to distract as opposed to addressing, right? Normally, I would say that's because she can't address it because either she doesn't have an ability to rebut whatever the accusations are, or she doesn't know enough to rebut the situation. part of me is not that forgiving. Part of me is just like, she's, not to be mean, she's just stupid. And she doesn't understand how to address this kind of thing in like an intellectual level. And so she falls back on her instincts, which is manipulation. And instead of addressing the issue and dealing with the problem at hand, she tries to distract with something unrelated or tangentially related. And that's where she tries to draw your attention because she feels like she has better footing in that situation than she does in the actual situation, right? That's why we don't see the dogs. There's nothing wrong with the dog, in my opinion. She just knows that we want to see it, and so she uses it as a distraction. Anyway, if you see me looking over here, you can't see me pointing here, it's because I've got notes. We're going to go over a bunch of stuff. We're going to compare this video very heavily to Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, which are basically laws of manipulation. Some people have accused Amber of being a Machiavellianist, and Robert Greene's Laws of Power are kind of like, I want to say like an updated version of Machiavelli's The Prince. So if you know what I'm talking about, you're here with me. If you're not, it's fine. You don't need to know these things. We'll go over these things. It'll be fine. I do recommend reading both of those books, but definitely Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. It is more modern. It's wordy, worth a read. Anyway, I will be looking over here to see my notes just to kind of keep myself on track. I'm sure we're still going to ramble all over the damn place because that is what we do here. I do have Amber sped up, so if she seems particularly animated, she is not. I just have her sped up to 1:25. Amber does talk slow. I talk a lot. This is probably going to be a longer video, so strap in. This being a longer video after I just got done saying, I'm going to stop making long videos. So this video is 12 minutes long. It was posted on November the 16th. Again, today is the 18th of said November. It's got only 41.5K views. There's nothing to know. There's, as usual, no description, no punctuation. Well, okay, there's a period this time. But, you know, no capitalization. This is something I've always noticed with Amber. Like, you know, I love my channel. I love YouTube. I take pride in my videos. And then you can't even capitalize the titles of your videos. The more angry she gets at the audience, the crappier her videos get. And it's not because she's bad at it. She's doing it intentionally. She does this as a way of like punishing the audience. I mean, the only person you're really punishing is yourself because it makes your videos look like shit. So in the long run, it makes your stuff look shitty. All I have to do is react to it. So here we are. I am playing with slime. This is dry food from OG Slimes. It looks like cat litter. Let's be real. Here we are. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. I should have put a picture of Ida up, but that's okay. We'll get her at the end. Ida is our cat. Okay, so before we hit play, I just kind of want to like prime the pump here, if we will. The message that Amber is trying to do in this video is to, again, reframe the narrative that is being built around Tommy. Tommy has been accused by the community at large, the Amberverse community at large, for being a feeder, perhaps even a death feeder. These accusations are obviously very heavy and would, in a normal situation, require some kind of definitive rebuttal. The best we've gotten from Amber so far has been that, no, Tommy is not a feeder because Tommy told me so. And when everybody said, okay, well then why is she on feeder sites with obvious feeder adult fun time pictures? Amber said that Tommy and her late fiance were making these pictures for the feeder sites to make money so that Tommy could afford to travel to go see her fiance who lived, I forget exactly where, but it was further away than Wisconsin. Basically, the ye old I'm selling feet pics to make money excuse, which does not fly because unlike feet pics, this is a very, very niche fetish. I don't want to say kink. I want to say fetish. Kink implies consent. Fetish implies that it is an individual preference or an individual desire. not necessarily part of the kink community. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't like putting Tommy and feederism into the kink community just because, like, it gives that community a bad name and it already has enough issues. I don't want to pile those on with a bad actor such as what Tommy appears to be. And the reason I'm referring to Emily as Tommy is because you get one name and Tommy was introduced as Tommy, and I'm sorry, that's just how my brain functions. Anyway, so before we get into this, the video itself, Amber tries to reframe the narrative from some accusations that Jordy brought up on his channel. Oh lordy, it's Jordy, where he has spoken to, at the time, an anonymous person who was claiming to be the ex-wife of one of Tommy's ex-partners, actually ex-partners, and that Tommy had abused said ex-partner. And there were accusations of abuse, of false imprisonment, of physical harm. So Amber, of course, is trying to reframe this to make Tommy look like the victim, and also pulls that shield of victimization over herself as well, again lashing out at not just the people like Jordy and them, but at the community and at reaction channels as a whole. She does try to caveat that she knows that there are some people who are watching her who are not haters, and there's some reaction channels who are not the devil monsters. You don't know how hard it was for me to not get a monster mask and do this entire thing in a monster mask. But I am that lazy, so that's the only saving grace here. But she does put that caveat out there that we're not all like that, just certain ones. Jordy, kind of a thing. I think she's also mad at Zachary Michael right now. And I'm sure she'll be pissed at Alex's shook here before too long, because Alex is also not entertained by any of this. And of course, we know her ongoing feud with Mr. Snowflake right now. And we don't even talk about Karina anymore because Amber's trying to do the whole, like, you don't exist, therefore you're not real thing with Karina. I don't think it's working, but here we are. So the problem is, as Amber tries to talk about domestic violence and domestic abuse in this video, bringing up how she herself is a victim, as well as Tommy is a victim, and that these accusations are affecting both of their mental healths, and therefore Amber cannot be happy, and we are all bad people, and I don't know, she again makes her veiled threats of liable, and good luck, have fun with that. I would love to see you try to sue Mr. Snowflake for liable. That would be amazing. Or defamation. That would be amazing. I would cover that court case because it would never go to court. Anyway. So over the years, Amber has publicly spoken out about her personal trauma, including claims of sexual abuse, not only by family members, but also by past partners. And those past accusations have either been walked back, I think all of them have been walked back by Amber's own admittance. Anyway, but also there's been some concrete evidence that has been dug up by various parts of the internet to verify that indeed these are not true. The most infamous of these would be Amber's accusations against her ex-partner, who goes by the name of Casey. Okay, if you weren't here for the whole Rain and Petals eavesdrops thing, count yourself in the lucky pool. But at one point, Amber made blatant accusations against an ex-partner, Casey, who was not... Casey was never an online partner. You know how we're always talking about Amber's eras? Then the first era of Amber online is always referred to as the Crystal era. Well, Casey is the partner before Crystal. And Casey seems to have gotten the worst of Amber's personality problems. But at some point, Amber decided it was going to be a good idea to put an accusation out on the internet of accusing Casey of various not good things that you should not do to your partner. And I think she believed that she could get away with it because Casey did not, at the time, have a strong internet presence, and it appears was doing their damnedest to just pretend like Amber did not exist. And then the accusations got back to Casey. Casey made a rebuttal at that time. This was years ago at this point. And Casey has always denied these. And Casey's story is a lot more credible than Amber's. Don't get me wrong. This is unfortunately a he said, she said situation. And that's unfortunately the way it has to be. This is the other problem with, abuse cases and RAPE cases, is because like it comes down to a he said, she said situation. And that's where we're at. In this case, most people are willing to side with Casey because Casey's story not only makes more sense and seems to be more believable, but Casey also has, at least in the form of their mother, a secondary partner or a secondary witness to the situation. Granted, it's Casey's mom. You can have your fight in your head if you want to. Personally, this channel sides with Casey over Amber, but I just want people to be able to like hold two thoughts in their head at the same time and just understand that there's no concrete evidence for either person. But the other thing that makes this situation lean so much more heavily towards Casey is that after Casey's rebuttal and after the community, the Amberverse at large, bamboozled, that's not the word I want, bum rushed maybe, Amber about these accusations and about like, WTF, can you back this up? Amber not only walked it back with the infamous Rain and Petals eavesdrop poem, but also deleted the original video. Amber doesn't delete things very often. There are a handful of videos that Amber herself has taken down. Now, she's had some taken down recently, but those were by YouTube itself, not Amber. She did not take those videos down herself, which is the important detail here, that she removed the original accusation video on her own. So that's the most infamous case of Amber making these allegations against someone else, and these allegations appear to be false, not only from having someone say, no, I didn't do that, to Amber being like, oh, okay, maybe I used the wrong word, madam. Anyway, just kind of get everybody on the same page here. This is going to be a longer video. Figure that out yet. Understanding that Amber has a history of making these kind of accusations against various individuals and those accusations not sticking, or Amber having to walk them back, or they've just blatantly been found to be false, Amber has a reputation. So Amber falls back on the age-old I'm rubber, you're glue argument and decides to try to change the narrative away from Tommy being the perpetrator of violence against another person to that person or some other person who may or may not be related being the one who was causing Tommy issues. Yeah, if you know who Nerfy is, Nerfy did a live reaction to this video yesterday? Anyway, I'm going to link Nerfy's video in the description down below because there's a clip part of it that I'm going to try to put in this video where Nerfy goes the extra mile to actually look up the court records that seem to pertain to the situation that Amber is talking about in this video. If you are not familiar with the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, I am going to go over the laws that seem to apply in this situation. Robert Greene's book, he has several. 48 Laws of Power, I think, is his first, and it's his most impactful. Again, go read it. It's wordy. It's worth it. You will learn things. You can get it on audio. It's not a bad listen. It's fun. Kind of fun little history lessons in there. Anyway, I'm only going to go over the laws that seem to apply to the situation at hand, because we are not going to try to go through all 48 laws. That is not the point. And I will also be referring to various anthropological concepts, not quite theories, but concepts as they come up. I do also want to address the larger community's reaction to this video, only because you can't study... Anthropologically, you cannot study Amber without also studying the audience. Keeping in mind, I am a participant observer, meaning that I participate in the community that I am studying, being y'all. So we are all on the same boat together, and also understand that whatever I have to say is going to be colored by the fact that I am a participant observer. So that's what we call a disclaimer. Amber is going to start the video off after the preamble by telling us that she is writing her thoughts down and that she is going to be reading a statement that she has prepared. She has prepared a statement. She's a little more prepared than I am. There are some that have accused her of using ChatGPT to write said statement. I don't care. Amber is not as dumb as people want to believe that she is. Amber doesn't think quickly on her feet. I believe that given the time to sit and think and collect her thoughts properly, that she is more than capable of crafting a statement that sounds like the one that she presented to us. It's very wordy. She's using a lot of like $5 words. I will be using several $5 words and $5 concepts. I went to college. This is how I'm using my education. Same thing with Amber. So what I'm saying is I don't think it is inconceivable that Amber wrote her statement herself. However, I don't not believe that she may have also used ChatGPT. It has been brought to our attention that she seems to really like ChatGPT. I do too. Just putting it out there. It is not outside of the realm of possibility that she typed into ChatGPT, you know, this is what I want to say, make it sound better. And ChatGPT went, bleh, and she said, excellent, and just read it. That's fine. That's what people do sometimes. So that is actually going to fall under law number 9, which is going to be win through your actions, never through argument. That law doesn't stick for very long because there is argument to be had. But it's the idea that Amber, instead of engaging in a verbal confrontation or debate, if you will, Amber chooses to present herself as cool, collected, has a well-crafted, pre-written narrative so that she can stay focused and composed throughout her presentation. So, you know, theoretically, we shouldn't have any weird fake crying moments, and she's not going to be having her squirrel moments where she just kind of completely goes off track because she's quirky, guys. She does better than I am going to do in this video. It also goes under a little bit of Law 44, disarm and infuriate with the minor effect. And the point of this one is Amber is organizing and presenting her thoughts and letting us know that she's done this ahead of time, kind of in a way to imply that the rest of us do not. That the rest of us just knee-jerk reaction, don't listen, don't think, don't reflect. Amber's a reflector, you guys. She likes to reflect. It's kind of a very subtle I'm better than you moment, which is the other reason why I kind of wanted to do the video in this kind of a format. Again, I'm still very distractible, which is also why I have notes, but I'm also used to crafting arguments because I did this before. So I just kind of want to, Amber threw the red flag out there and I'm going to take her up on the challenge. You, Amber, can sit down and craft a well thought out, well spoken, well worded argument supporting your girlfriend and also accusing the rest of us of being literal monsters. I can as well. So let us progress. She doesn't watch my videos anymore. She got mad at me, so I'm no longer the golden child anymore. This is also going to fall under Law 42, or sorry, that's dyslexia right there. Law 24, which is play the perfect courtier. Amber is going to open with an acknowledgement that she is feeling anxiety and emotional distress, and that she feels vulnerable, and that this is very demanding of her, and this she's going to go into all of this. She's setting herself up as the victim in this situation, and in doing so, she's trying to make it look like she is the poor lost lamb that all of us hungry wolves are frothing at the mouth to tear apart. And oh, whoa, won't someone protect the small lost lamb? So she's trying to garner sympathy, and she's trying to create a understanding among her audience, among her supporters. She does have supporters, believe it or not. And she's trying to garner more of that from her viewers that she views as being supportive of herself. And, you know, maybe in the meantime, turn a couple of us haters onto her side. Y'all can tell me if it worked or not. Let me know if you were against her and now suddenly you've decided to support her. Let me know if this argument of hers changed your mind at all. I am honestly curious. All right, that's all the preamble I want to do. I definitely want to jump into the movie. Yes, well, you know, into the video. And as we go, I will be stopping and talking about things as we go on. And I think I'm going to leave out the well, we're not going to leave it out, but I'm going to hold off on the discussion about victimization and the use of victimization, and victim blaming and reversal of blame, the moral economy, power dynamics and social capitalism, and emotional appeals to cultural narratives. Told you we were using $5 words. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, she's sped up already. Let's go.
Well, welcome to a new video.
Wait.
So this is not.
I did it wrong. Start on that face. That's an amazing face. All right, let's go.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to a new video.
Hi.
So this is not clickbait. Yes, I will be talking about the
It's totally clickbait.
things that are being said about Tommy. So I actually already have a couple videos, really exciting videos and happy videos.
So again, this is her trying to drum up sympathy and understanding. But it's also her pointing out the whole, like, see what you're missing out on. I have all these amazing videos that you could be watching, but you have forced my hand here. I must reply. It's kind of a thing.
Filmed. I don't have them edited yet or anything like that, but I do have them up. That was what was going to be going up next. But
just going off her body language, she's full of shit. But
since this has happened, I feel compelled. Like, there are a lot of times where rumors are happening and things are being said where I just keep my mouth shut. Maybe I'll like mention it like on the low, maybe like on Instagram or just in passing.
I will give her this credit because I say this a lot on the channel. If something is occurring in the Amberverse that does not serve Amber's narrative, she will just straight up ignore it. It does not exist. You can bring it up. She will ignore you bringing it up. It does not exist.
But like this video is like strictly dedicated. I even wrote something because I wanted to be like in a clear mind. And as you guys know, I love to write. I love to journal. I'm able to collect my thoughts so much better in writing versus like speaking out loud. You guys know me. Like your girl can't speak half the time. And
your words, not mine, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of anxiety right now filming this video. And when I am anxious, my brain does not work correctly. Like words do not come out correctly. I just feel very, like a lot.
So do you just feel anxious 24/7? I'm not saying you can't. A lot of people do. I'm just, you know, your argument is that your words get weird and you say weird things when you're anxious. I'm just, you know, asking for a friend. This is kind of what it do. This is an emotional appeal. She's using an appeal to emotion, talking about her anxiety, explaining why she's using a storytelling type of presentation here. She's trying to tap into the cultural narrative of authenticity in this moment by being, oh, I feel a certain way. I've wrote my feelings down. I'm now going to share them with you. There's something about the act of reading something written that gives it a sense of authenticity. It's just a thing. Also, anthropology, take your terms as you want. But anyway, does seem to be some correlation between something being written and it being given more authority, authenticity over me just sitting here rambling, right? I've told you that I have notes because I'm going to be looking at them and it looks weird when I'm doing it on the screen. I also will be reading directly from them at some points. But now that you know I have notes, right, it sounds a little bit more professional than me just making eye contact with the camera uncomfortably for 30 minutes and telling you things that you may or may not know. Have I made it weird yet? Again, her emphasizing her anxiety and her struggles with her anxiety connects with the narrative of vulnerability and relatability, especially in today's social atmosphere where everybody's anxious and everybody feels vulnerable. So that, you know, she's like, I feel anxious. And most of us can go, I feel anxious too. And, you know, oh my God, we can be anxious together, kind of a thing. It's why Amber constantly collects different diagnoses, mental diagnoses, and then flaunts them for a while. Oh, I've got ADHD. Oh, really? I've got ADHD too. Kind of a thing. Anyway, the mentals, if you will. This is an anthropological tactic that manipulates the cultural expectations of that authenticity equals truth, hopefully influencing viewers to take her side. Visitors. I don't think I speak any clearer when I'm reading from notes as to when I am just rambling. Let me know down below. Anyway, so that's what's happening here. She's also trying to establish a power dynamic here, and it's a very subtle power dynamic where she is trying to get the upper hand by using social capital. These are also forms of manipulation. She's trying to use her platform here as a way of projecting her moral superiority. Going back to the whole, I had videos planned and they're really great videos, but now you don't get to see them because I felt compelled to speak up in this moment. Did you then? So that's her form of superiority, moral superiority here, because she is putting aside the real things she's been working on because this one just requires her immediate attention, kind of a thing. It's a way of so by building that social capital with you. Oh wow, Amber, you're so great because you decided to put aside everything else just to address this one very important situation. Wow, that's so cool of you. It's that kind of a thing. She's also trying to build her. She's trying to cash in on the moral economy here, and she'll be doing this throughout the video. But the whole idea that she has this driving need, this purpose that she must speak out about this, right? But the reason she must speak out about it is because the rest of us are unduly and unfairly attacking Tommy and her. All right, so this is what's going on. We will be talking about victim blaming and reversal of blame here in a second, so stick around. Fun times. Let's go.
It just feels like a lot right now. So I decided to write, like, in journal form, the way that I would write in my journal, and I am going to read it to you guys because it's going to help me. Because
I decided to write in my journal, or I decided to write in journal format the way I would write in my journal. Yes, you did. Sorry. It's not that funny, but it is. All right, now going back to Robert Greene and his laws of power. Amber has established, she's established context and the need for her to speak out. And this falls under law number 6, which is court attention at all costs. By addressing a highly dramatic and sensitive topic, Amber is trying to grab the audience attention and make sure that we are thoroughly enthralled by the story. And in her defense, she has achieved that. I do think somebody pointed out, it might have been Nerfy. I will be linking that in live because I do think this came out of Nerfy's live. But Nerfy pointed out that certain reactors' videos have more views than Amber's actual video has views, but they're reacting to this video. So yes, we can say that these reactors are getting more views on their channel than Amber is getting to her own actual channel. However, they are reacting to her video, and people who are watching those reaction videos are also watching this video, not through her channel, but they are watching the video. So in that aspect, she has grabbed our attention and she has held on to it with this address and this furthering of the storyline. She's also using Law 32, which is play to the people's fantasies. She is trapping us in our desire for drama and truth, promising an emotional and revealing explanation. I've already seen this video so many times now, I know it's coming, but again, spoilers. She does actually try to play into this, and I won't say she buries the lead, because she jumps into the story pretty quick, if I'll give her the moment to do that, but here we are. So, yeah, so we've got Law 6 and Law 32, and again, transitioning into written defense, her use of her journal. We talked about it, Law number 9, win through your actions, on Law 44, disarm and infuriate with minor effects. Again, there is an authenticity to something being written. It's just our brains, just for whatever reason, give more credibility to a written document than to a verbal document. Same thing like if I put my glasses on, suddenly I am more intelligent than I am right now. I'm not putting my glasses on. I probably should. I am reading. But anyway, onward. Wow.
Because I do feel very anxious, and I do want to have collective thoughts. I don't want to forget anything, and this is very important to me that I get this out in this moment. So before I read it, I just want to explain in short form. This is about a reaction channel who was contacted by Tommy's ex-girlfriend's ex-wife, and this woman was immediately put on a pedestal, and everything that she said was believed. People have taken everything that she said as gospel and as truth, because a lot of you want someone to hate, and it's easy for you guys to hate Tommy.
I don't hate Tommy. I don't know Tommy on a personal enough level to have the emotion of hate, but that's me. I don't tend to hate people I've never met. Do I like Tommy as a character? I mean, if I step back and look at Amber's life as a telenova, which is effectively what it is for me, I think Tommy's a great character, because Tommy has breathe some life into this channel, because Amber's been very boring for a very long time. And whether you like Tommy or not, we're all here for the Tommy storyline, so here we are. Tommy as an individual person, I don't know. I don't know if Tommy really is this diabolical, horrendous, genius level thinking manipulator. I probably would like them, because that's kind of the point. Everybody likes serial killers because we don't know they're serial killers until it's too late. You know what they always say? He was just a quiet guy. He just didn't seem like there was anything wrong with him. Later on, he's got 9 bodies in the backyard, all of which are missing their heads. I'm going to let her finish, and then we will jump into the next 2 laws.
For whatever reason. You guys don't know her in person like I do, and I'm telling you, she is lovable and likable, and I am happy and in love with her. And I know a lot of people want to twist this really dark narrative, but I'm telling you, it's not real. So I'm sorry I couldn't be
trust me, bro,
a little more put together, and I'm sorry that I'm bad with my words, the fact that I have to literally look like this and read to you guys, but it's what is going to work best for me, which I have done this before.
For me.
And it's usually only during super anxiety inducing situations for me.
Like Rain and Petals Eavesdrop. This is the same setup, by the way, that she had for Rain and Petals Eavesdrop. And then she read us her poem. Her poem-y.
And I do it in my real life as well. There are a multitude of times in my life where instead of speaking to someone, I will write something and then I'll read it off to them. It's helpful, it's therapeutic. I learned it years and years ago.
I just like her use of multitudes in this time. Many times? Multitudes implies physical numbers. At least to me, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have 140 IQ like Amber does.
Actually, in therapy, probably when I was like 17 or something. And ever since then, it has greatly helped me. But I am sorry that I will be facing this way the whole time. But yeah, please hear me. Like, please hear me. I know there's a difference between like listening to someone and that's that, goes in one ear and out the other, and you build your assumptions and you don't really care. But like, I need you guys to hear what I am saying.
I hear what you are saying. That's why I have a many-page rebuttal that I am also reading from.
Please. I truly hate that I have to do this. I want my channel to reflect what's real in my life and not constantly having to make videos like this.
This is real in your life, girlfriend. This is your real life.
Defending Tommy's character because of a reaction channel who is so hungry for views and money and hot tea that they have created a whole false storyline that has thousands and thousands of people believing it.
Though I agree that Jordy goes off half-cocked. I do. And I do think that Jordy may or may not do certain things as a way of drumming up drama. He's a reaction channel. He's a drama channel. I don't watch Jordy. I don't believe Amber is his top topic. I think he does other things. So implying that he needs to do this in order to save his own channel, I don't think. I think this is one of those moments where Amber's just having a grandiose moment where she honestly thinks she is more impactful to Girl World than she is. Amber hasn't had that much pull in Girl World in a very long time. So, like, later on in the video, she's going to kind of imply that she's not going to do this anymore, you guys. And I'm like, okay, well, I'd be wrong. You've been a main topic for my channel for a while. My channel's only a year old at this point. A little bit over a year. So it would suck losing you as a topic, but you dropped off the planet for almost 2 months, and I was more than able to find stuff to fill the empty spot. I'm just saying, if it's not hurting my channel, and I'm a very small channel, I'm pretty sure it's not going to hurt Jordy's channel. I'm just putting that out there.
It's unfair to me, and it's unfair to Tommy. This is not the first time this reaction channel has done this. They have platformed a few people as long as they were willing to spill tea and share whatever could cause me or other people in my life to look bad for their benefit.
She's talking about Valentine and Brittany, the two women who tried to troll Amber, tried to do like a romance troll on Amber, specifically for the purpose of later on coming out and trying to be the new darlings of Girl World because we pulled one over on Amber. Aren't we clever? They were not received well, but they did get their 15 minutes of fame through Jordy's channel. So I guess in that aspect, yes, but it was very quickly evident that they were both full of shit. It doesn't help that they admitted right off the bat that they had literally contacted her for the lulz. So that didn't help their argument, but here we are.
There have been some serious misrepresentations made in a recent video on that reaction channel about an extremely painful chapter in Tommy's life. The video, which talks about a domestic violence situation involving Tommy and her ex, fails to include important facts, so it paints a false and harmful narrative. And I want to be very clear. Tommy is the victim here.
All right, so this goes into our clarification of allegations against Tommy. Law number 5, again, 48 laws of power. So much depends on your reputation. Guard it with your life. Amber is trying to defend Tommy's reputation by sharing context that was allegedly left out, trying to reframe the narrative in a way that is protective towards Tommy's character. And then also, you know, the amount of bad-mouthing that she does, keep in mind. I know she's talking about Jordy. You know she's talking about Jordy. For whatever reason, she's trying to take the high ground. Again, this probably goes back to the whole, like, reframing things to make her look like the morally superior character. I'm not going to mention their name because I won't do that. It's a publicly available channel. These were publicly available videos. There's really no reason for you not to say Jordy's name because we all know you're talking about Jordy. It's just foolishness at this point. Anyway, but this goes on to Law 15, which is crush your enemies totally. She's focusing on discrediting the reaction channel, Jordy, and is trying to diminish their influence and credibility completely. Again, she has tried to pull this kind of a stunt in the past not just against Jordy's channel, but against other channels. She's done this to Zachary Michael. She's done this to Alex's Shook. She's done this to Karina. Those are just the ones that come off the top of my head. She tries to do it to Snowflake. I'm sure there are others that I'm not aware of that she has attempted the exact same thing on. The problem is as much as Amber is trying to present herself here as an influential individual, she does not have as much influence over Girl World as she seems to think she does. Which is why when she tries to pull this kind of stuff, I was trying to say, it does not work. It doesn't work for her. Because she goes after channels that are effectively bigger than she is, and she doesn't bring receipts. She doesn't bring a counter narrative. She doesn't bring something trustworthy. And it is unfortunate that Amber, because of her reputation in Girl World for being unreliable and being a liar and a fabricator and other things, that she has to bring twice as much evidence to the table to clear her name as someone has to bring to the table to dirty up her name, right? There are people who have made completely false accusations towards Amber, and those accusations have ran for a number of days, and she has said, no, guys, it's not real, and people just want to believe bad things about Amber to the point where some people will literally believe anything that is negative and said about Amber. And then usually these things clear themselves up, but not because Amber proved anything, right? It's usually because the community as a whole starts to fact check itself, and then it comes out and is like, oh wait, no, that wasn't right, that wasn't accurate, these people are full of shit. That's usually how this process works. Amber herself, I don't think, has ever successfully cleared her own name. Reaction channels have cleared her name for her because the community tends to fact check itself after a while. Which is why I'm not entirely sure where this particular set of accusations sits within Girl World right now, because it also tends to be a pretty fast process. And again, I was gone for 2 days, so as far as I know, somebody dropped a video 2 seconds ago that has blown whatever this accusation is out of the water, or has hammered it down as being absolutely factual. I'm not sure. I am working in ignorance here.
Not the one at fault. The details in the video were based on inaccurate and incomplete information from a third party with a clear agenda. Someone who has openly stated that their goal was to get revenge for their own personal reasons, and even admitted that they've tried to get revenge in the past. This kind of victim shaming is not only misleading, it's downright disgusting. It wasn't a simple incident in a garage. As you can see from the charges listed about Tommy's ex, there was a weapon involved. A weapon. Please just think.
Oh my God. Not a weapon. In the right hands, a folded piece of paper is a weapon. Putting it out there.
Think about that for a minute. With multiple ways to escape a garage, Tommy couldn't. Think about why.
This particular framing has confused me from the first time that I've heard it up until this point. With multiple ways to escape a garage. It's not an escape room. It's a garage. There might be a door, and the garage door. Maybe a window if you're lucky. I've seen garages without windows. I've seen garages without doors. Just the garage door. Garages are the least escapable of places that I can think of. What's she gonna do? Climb out the air vent? Dig a hole with a spoon? It's a confusing statement. It confuses me, and it still confuses me. Maybe they just build garages differently where I'm from. I guess it's not like they're Swiss cheese, you know. I don't know.
The truth is that her abuser was charged with felony charges for their actions, and Tommy has spent years working on healing and working through trauma her ex caused. A lot of people are saying that Tommy must have provoked her into holding her hostage with a weapon for hours. If that were true, Tommy's ex would not have been convicted.
No. First off, let's not victim blame here. Secondly, even if you did provoke somebody into violent acts towards you, I'm pretty sure the person who did the violent acts is still going to be held legally liable for those, regardless of the fact that you sat there and went, nee, 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 nee. I still think if they threw the first punch, they still threw the first punch. Okay, well, I was trying to find the clip in Nerfy's live where Nerfy mentioned that she had looked up the public records and that the person in question in Amber's video, the ex, did apparently get probation. Looks like 2 of the 3 charges were dropped, which meant 1 stuck, and she got probation. So that's what Nerfy found. I myself have not looked it up. Let me know in the comments down below if that's incorrect. But I will be linking Nerfy's live should you wish to go watch it.
Provoking someone or self-defense, it would not have gotten her ex convicted for the millionth time, period.
That's not true. Amber says that if Tommy had provoked the ex, or if the ex had been acting in self-defense, that she would not have been charged with a felony and the charges would not have stuck. That is not true. Plenty of people have defended themselves to various degrees, some of them being lethal, and those people have still been convicted of felonies, murder, have still had to do jail time. The simple fact that she was defending herself, or that she was in some way provoked to do the physical thing, that doesn't protect you from getting felony charges. That's just not how the system works here, whether you like it or not. Anyway.
Incredibly hurtful to see the narrative twisted in this way, and I feel compelled to speak out because no one should ever be made to feel like they are the perpetrator when they are the victim. Domestic
Yeah, we can agree on that.
violence is a serious issue, and we should be lifting up those who have suffered, not blaming them. I stand by Tommy because I know the full story, and I've known the full story the whole time. These people have decided to leave out, and I quote, "I don't want to go into details." That is what this person said when talking about Tommy being falsely imprisoned by her ex. Why? Because it would leave people empathizing with Tommy. Instead, this person has exaggerated, lied, left out important information, and continues to create outrage against Tommy because they want revenge. This is the only way they know how to.
She wants revenge. So this comes into addressing the victim blaming and misfortune. It also goes back to the crushing your enemy totally, which was Law 15, if you lost count. I can't imagine why. Amber, the enemy here is the unnamed ex. Amber is trying to crush their reputation in a way that is going to make us question the validity of the accusations. That's fine. Amber has a right to do that. Again, this is another he said, she said moment. We weren't there. Tommy's not defending herself. So, but this also goes into Law 10, which is infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Amber's positioning herself and the reaction channels, Amber's positioning the reaction channels as toxic influences that spread negativity and suggesting that her audience avoid them. Yes, that's exactly what's happening. That's what I've been trying to say. Thank you. 42, actual Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. By targeting Jordy's channel as being the channel that spreads misinformation, she's trying to undermine the entire network of criticism. So Jordy in this aspect kind of represents all of the channels in this way. Jordy's reaction channel is all reaction channels, but Amber's criticisms towards Jordy are her criticisms towards reaction channels in general. Which is probably the other reason why she's just not mentioning Jordy's name, because this way she can be like, oh, I wasn't talking about Jordy, I was talking about so-and-so, you know, later on in the future, because that's what she does. But her goal here is to imply that the reaction channels are spreading misinformation, we're spreading lies, we're not looking at the whole picture, we're not listening to both sides of the story. Well, we don't have both sides of the story. Like, Tommy's not coming forward and telling her version of this from her own mouth. Again, this all falls back on the he said, she said. But if this really did go to court, and there really are court documents, and this ex really did serve some variety of time or probation, that's all going to be public record. So you should be able to at least look into that. That would at least lend some validity to Tommy's story, unfortunately. Well, or fortunately. So there's that. Amber constantly implying that the ex of the ex is doing this purely for revenge, and that the ex of the ex has already mentioned that they're out for revenge, And so everything that they say or do is tainted by that, and that they are purely driven for revenge. Somebody pointed this out again in Nerfy's live. If the person's out for revenge, that usually implies that some wrong had been done. But the other thing that I briefly remember from the 5 seconds that I watched of the, because I didn't honestly expect this to blow up like this, so I wasn't paying attention. The ex of the ex is the ex-wife, and I believe one of the texts from the ex of the ex mentioned that basically she had told her wife, you know, you got to pick, and the ex-wife chose to go with Tommy. So it could be the revenge is just that simple. I'm just mad that my ex left me for you, kind of a situation. Now I'm going to tear you down. It could be. People do shit for worse, for pettier reasons, you know? But it could also be that there's some major wrong here, and that this is a, I don't know, legitimate reaction to that. I don't know. And neither do you. It's kind of the situation we're in. We can't really know the true motivation of this. So, we are unfortunately at an hour. I hate to stretch this out as much as I have, but we're only about halfway through the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this into two, only because I really do want to talk about various ways that Amber is manipulating in this video, and I also want to talk about various anthropological theories, not theories, concepts, as we're going through. It's not theory, it's a concept. It hasn't gotten to the level of theory, of formal theory yet, which is why I keep correcting myself. If you understand, you understand. If you don't, just trust me on this one. It's not worth me going into it anyway. So I think I'm going to do this as a two-parter. This is going to obviously be part one. So if you have made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave a water bottle or water emoji down in the comments section. I think I've asked several questions as we have gone through the video. Feel free to answer those as you see fit. Let me know if things are making sense as we go through the video, because this is another one of those, like, I know what I'm talking about, and I assume you know certain things as well, and you may not have any clue what the hell I'm talking about. So feel free to ask questions. I will answer them as best I can, and that's all I've got for you guys. So again, thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. Thank you to my mysterious new editor who's thankfully going to put up with this crap raw video, but I appreciate you. So everybody say nice things about the editor. And that's all I've got for you. So I will see everybody in the next one. Bye!
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.